QFX says, LOL, I watched some Iggy's VID now, that dude just chits on everyone with his priest.
I know. He does. He's so good. I got on last night and rebound a lot of keys and updated my macros and stuff, improved them, and I'm just gonna study Aegis as much as I can because it is hard to kite right now. It is very hard to kite. You can't get people off you. There's ways of doing it. He's very good at it, but he makes it look easy, but it's very hard to do, um, which is good because that means you can, it's something to work towards. There's the potential for it. Most people can't play that like that. Yeah, he's very good. I got that up. Yeah, I did.
QFX says, yeah, I mean the guy prob also plays 10 hours a day.
They play. Here's the other thing, QFX. The people who are playing in arena right now, I'm pretty sure a lot of them are like that. I don't think they have jobs. I really don't think a lot of people have jobs because they're on it all the time. And if you see, like, Zerx will look up the amount of games that people played, and it was just unreal. Like he and I would play. Last season we played a lot, like at night, and we got over 1,000 games. There are people with like 10,000, 11,000 games. And I don't know how they do that. And I'm pretty sure botting is a thing. Um, but there are a lot of people who just, that's all they do is just play that game, you know. And that's what you're up against. It's very it's a challenge. It is
QFX
a
says,
challenge.
LOL, I saw someone playing and he said he has 26k hours, they want me to compete against that LOL.
Um, they want you to like, yeah. I mean, that's my point. Is that it's just, I was thinking about this the other night. Like I said, at this point in my life,
Future Oil Painter
I can't
says,
put that time in.
Luth.
What's up, butt for chair? But I mean, I could never put that much time in, but it's hard to put enough. Like, I'm more of extreme casual right now. I forced myself to get on last night. I was so tired. I didn't even tell Zerx I was on. He saw me on later and he hopped on and we did like a BG, which was nice. I didn't say I was on because I wanted to focus to get the macros up and I need to, just organize everything. And it's hard to do that when we're queuing up. I can't do it while I'm queuing. So it was that's how it was. But I mean, these people they live and breathe it. And it sucks because it's a game and they're taking it to a whole different level, and it just sucks, you know. But it makes you better because we've beaten a lot
QFX
of those
says,
guys.
lot of the remaining player base also script, use auto hotkey, play the flavor specs, have more time,
That's
all that
true.
shit stacks up to a massive disadvantage.
100%.
Oddball
Oddball,
3053
what's up, man?
says, hello. Can you draw some quick clouds for us? To show how it's done.
Yeah,
There aren't really any good tutorials that's not BS clouds.
sure. Let me do this though,
Future Oil Painter
because
says,
I want to develop those
add
clouds. Let
time.
let me put I'm gonna get a sheet of paper and put it over it. And this is good practice for me. Let's see, do this one. Or do you do the Strathmore, which is still gonna look really good. That is a very good exercise. I'll get back to the drawing. This is all compounds. I need to warm up anyway.
Future Oil Painter says. Back.
Yeah, it's just it's crazy because it's like people don't have they have dedicated themselves 100% to a game, and they do it all day long, every single day. Like, and I know some of these people, they do it all the time, and it's unhealthy. I mean, you have to. It's just people aren't built for that, you know. And so when it's like, okay, I want to chill and take it casual and have fun, wrong. You can't. I mean, it's like, it's nuts. It's stressful too. I mean, this time it almost broke me. I got back on the horse, QFX. Last night I rationalized out of my bullshit. I got back into it. But now I need to apply and
Future
I need to
Oil Painter
practice and not get
says.
discouraged with it.
Man, that's hardcore.
Well, it's
QFX
like, but
says.
for sure, these people don't do
Yeah, your
anything.
average 9 to
Or
5 dad
future
who
oil
clocks
painter,
in
they
a
don't.
couple days late is just gonna get rolled, which is why all the casuals are out.
I mean, it's like,
QFX
especially at the beginning
says.
of the season, it's like
Hours.
everything's deflated. Yeah, it's insane. It literally is insanity what these people are doing. And it's 24/7. They do it all the time. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are cheating and have like scripts that are wrong. I'm pretty sure a lot of that's going on. Like I when we first started, everybody was shadow melding at exactly
Windy City
5% health.
1828 says. Afternoon coffee, yes, please count me in.
Yeah. Count you in for the milking. Is that how are you doing, Windy City? All right, so Oddball wants some clouds, and so let's go ahead and do some clouds. We'll do a couple different ones. See, I gotta get this going. Yeah, right there is good. Okay.
QFX says. When they auto kick instantly the right thing, you know they're doing it, lol.
Right.
Windy City 1828 says. Doing good, thank you.
Good.
Future Oil Painter says. Experthius Lef.
All right, so Oddball. Essentially, you want to get like very interesting designs, and you're gonna have sharps and softs, clouds, right? And you're gonna have my hand's not moving right yet. Okay, so do y'all know
QFX says.
but for chair probably
Even
knows
if
this.
you just auto hotkey, you're pressing your rotation much more effectively, giving you easily 20% more damage IMO.
That's true. So when you lift weights and then you try to like shoot a basketball or something, um, but for chair, you know this, probably, or do something that's meticulous. It's like it's hard to do. It's like everything's thrown off.
Windy
See,
City
I'm lifting
1828
my dad
says.
all day.
Me and my random questions, can you draw a perfect circle?
No, I can't. I mean, I could probably over time, but I can't just draw one outright like that. I would need to practice a lot for that. That's a good question. But anyway, so like I'm always lifting my dad, so my hands, I feel like I've lost a lot of coordination every time I come in because I'm always like gripping something. It's kind of crazy. Okay. So essentially, let's put about three parts in it. So we're going to have a shape and then three values. You have like dark and then the medium and the light. So you want it turning or whatever. And we can put some variations into it. So like the clouds normally like at the bottom, they're going to be a little bit more, a little bit darker. And so I'm putting, we can start shaping these like shapes out a little bit. And it's okay if it looks a little bit ratty at first. Okay.
Future
So
Oil
I'm kind
Painter
of doing these
says.
circles and stuff
Yep,
here.
muscle are impacted. Muscles
Yeah,
that we don't know existed are impacted.
yeah. And that's kind of like, so when I come in here, it takes me about an hour. So, and I was wondering about this because I also like basketball, I lost my shot and a lot of my coordination. And I realized it's because I'm always I carry dad when I walk him. I'm like, there's a way I walk him, and I've been switching sides too. And but I'm always like all day long lifting. And then I played with my brother-in-law basketball. I was like, I suck. Like normally, like I could do. I used to be able to. I've always been able to like dribble like really fast, like do the like if you're going like 1-2, almost like you're not going like that, but it's like 1-2 fake and then go around or something like that, or do three of them or go off the knee or something, go around. And I've lost all my coordination, all of it, and my shot is horrible. Granted, like I don't practice, but I've never been that bad before ever, even when I didn't practice. And it's like my calibration's off. My chakra is off. I don't know what that means. Anyway, and I'm not saying I'm like this ultimate athlete. I'm not saying that. I'm because I'm not. Like I'm a much better defensive player. I'm not offense really, um but with this, with drawing, it does like it takes me a while to get this sometimes. All right, so anyway, and so we can kind of shape this. And so oddball, I'm keeping everything just very simple at first, right? I'm doing little loop-de-loops, right? And we can even kind of do this. It's okay, just kind of sketch it in, something like that. And then what you can do, we always have the gummy eraser here, and we can come in and we can kind of sculpt shapes and stuff, and kind of bring it out, you know, choose what we want to keep, bring that up some, bring this down.
Future Oil Painter
See, kind of
says,
do stuff like that.
my biggest disappointment about basketball was finding out that Jordan is a douchebag.
Is he a douchebag? I don't think he is, though. I mean, like, are you talking about because he was like a hard ass with his teammates? I mean, look, to be that competitive, you have got to, you know, you got to be
Future
intense.
Oil Painter says, know the way he is towards fans.
Oh, really? Oh, well, that sucks if he is like that. I didn't think he was, but I mean, I can understand having that much fame, and at some point you want to get out of it. All right, so we're just block. This is the basic blocking, right? Basic blocking, and I'm going to do kind of the underneath a little bit darker, and then we'll start putting some variations in here, right? Start doing some variations and plucking some light out and stuff, and you know. So you want it kind of like puffy in some areas, and I'll show you how to wisp it and stuff too. And so like I'm doing these arches here, or these circles, you know, and it helps to offset them. So if I do one here, you don't necessarily want to do one here. You want to kind of do it here. Do you see what I'm saying? Kind of like how it comes up like that. And so how about this?
QFX says, what's that, a donut?
This is a cloud. We slowly darken. And we can also have some wisps come off.
QFX says, looked like human cheese to me.
Well, it's not done, is it? Jackass.
Shuri Kitten says,
Shurimiya.
good morning LOL. QFX says, morning.
I'm just going to do some variations up here. And
Windy City
I'm putting
1828
this
says.
in, and then I'm going to start
Random
hatching out some
question
shit.
number 2.
Go for it.
If you make a mistake drawing, do you erase the mistake or camouflage the mistake?
You can do both.
QFX
You can do
says.
both.
Gotta AFK though. See you in 2 hours if
All
you're
right.
still on.
Yeah, man, I should still be on it too. Yeah,
Fatal
that's a good
Stimulation
question when you
1P
say.
says.
I oftentimes do
Cheap
both.
viewers stream book. Remove the space. YGYS7QN.
Fate, you can suck a dick. Okay, how about that? How about that? I wish you were in our Discord about 2 weeks ago on a Saturday, around 3 o'clock. How about that? And had your eyes burnt out by a bombardment of gay porn from gay people who were salty because they lost in a game. And that's what I'm saying. They take this way too serious. Okay, anyway.
Shuri Kitten says. Banned. D.
Thank you. Thank
Future Oil
you.
Painter says. I streamed last night.
Did you? In the sun, I feel as one. Okay, so here's another
Future
thing.
Oil Painter says. I had 3 people.
That's not bad. I mean, sometimes that's all I have. Y'all have seen it before.
Future Oil Painter says. One of them is a robot stalker.
Is it? I just had somebody come in here just now. All right, so here's the thing. Let's do
Shuri
this,
Kitten
and
says.
then let's flatten this
That's
side
not
out.
bad.
No,
It
it's not
takes
bad.
time to get consistent viewers.
Exactly. Let's kind of do that. Take that off, and then we can start. We're just trying to design this right now, right? And then what we can do is say, that's the cloud, this is the underside of it. And then the sky, which is going to be a little bit darker in the back, and we can just like kind of bring this out. So that way we're working with some lights in the clouds, right? Clouds are a little bit light. See what we're doing? And look, I'm keeping it
Future
very
Oil
light
Painter
right now
says.
too. I'm not.
I mainly stream to chit chat while I draw or paint.
It's fun to do, man. Like, especially with text to speech, it makes it much easier for me to get work done. For years, when I was doing streaming, it was like I had to look over. Like, it's hard to work that way when you're having to look away from your reference. And, um, anyway, man, this is what we're doing. So then, all this can change. See, it's all very light, right? We're just designing the clouds. So that's kind of the sky in the background. Now we have a sense of light, okay? And we can even do this. We can even bring this down some. So it's like a lonely cloud, right? Because it like is an outcast, like
Shuri
many of
Kitten
you,
says.
many of us.
Is that an HB pencil?
This
Future
is a
Oil
2B.
Painter
I
says.
can do it with an HB though too.
I
I'm just,
always assume the people watching are art people, but a lot of them don't do drawing or oil painting.
a lot of people don't. They're just curious, you know. There you go. So now if you look, it's starting to come out, right? Starting to come out. And we can just continue.
Windy City
Building.
1828 says. I'm one of those people.
Yeah, Windy
Shuri
City
Kitten
is.
says. People find it comforting to watch art. Meanwhile we know the truth. The pain in painting LOL.
Oh yeah. Yeah, painting the first 4 letters.
Future Oil Painter says. Luth, what do you think of the cloud paintings from Turner?
I like him. I think he's really damn good. So this is one of those things. It's like you can kind of freestyle it a little bit, but I notice, look, I have this camera here so you can see me squinting because I'm squinting trying to get an impression of it. And what that does, it prevents me from getting too detailed and like modeling too much because I can model all day long, make something look pretty, but it might not make sense. So I'm trying to make it make sense when I squint. Be like, okay, that is a solid impression of light right there, right?
Windy City 1828 says, I love Turner paintings, got some hanging up in the lounge.
Nice, 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 nice. Yeah, Turner's awesome, man. So these are the loopity loops, or the whatever the arches there. Make them like that. You don't want to overdo it. You want sharp and soft edges, right? Like sharp, soft, and we can work that a little bit more and a little bit, make it a little bit, you know, make it flow a little bit more than it does. Bring this down some. Let's unify this just a little bit here. Let's bring this down. Bring it down
Future Oil
means
Painter
darken.
says,
Bring the value down.
that's true,
Darken it.
ma. One still life I did, showed in water bottle I had with me the day my dad left this earth. Bad idea to do that.
Ooh. Let's do this here. All right.
Future Oil Painter says, cloud looks good.
Cloud's it's coming along, but we can keep working it. That's the thing, is that you can keep pushing it.
Oddball
And yeah.
3053 says, how hard is it to paint or draw these 1800s marine painting clouds? You know,
Uh
these dramatic stormy clouds in great seascapes. Just for me to get a perspective. Windy City 1828
it's
says,
a very good question.
random question number 3, have you ever had Banksy paintings appear on walls over there? Future Oil Painter says,
Banksy.
don't forget the sun,
I
with
don't
the
know what
pointy
Banksy
points.
is. Um, the pointy points. Thank you much for sharing. Oddball. Mm, dramatic clouds in the seascapes. Yeah, it's about the impression, and then you get the drawing with it. It depends on how detailed you want to go with it. I guess partially the complexity, and if you have a good reference, and if you have, or if you're out in I almost said the wild, in nature, right? What you're looking at, but I don't think it's extremely hard once you get the idea of drawing an impression, getting the light impression, and once you get a grasp on painting. I think it's, and the reason why I say that is because you don't need to get all the you have to get a solid drawing and impression of everything, but it's not like a face where you need to get everything perfect to how it is that you see it, right? Like you can be a little bit liberal in your movement with it, so that makes it easier. So you're getting the impression, the light impression, and then making sure sharps and softs and your drawing works with everything else. And that's always going to be easier than going and doing a portrait that's like so precise. But I'd have to
Windy
see
City
specific examples
1828 says,
for that.
Banksy is an elusive artist,
Hmm.
never been seen, but random art appears mysteriously overnight, really famous apparently.
So I just want to clarify this. Is it anything like this right here? No, that's the church. This. I had this up the other day. I know that's not it. Do you remember this one? That painting? Do you know the story behind it?
Sherry Kitten says, Banksy does spray paint art, right?
Does he? All right, so from here, I'm going to try to start cutting some shapes out and
Windy
solidify
City
the drawing just a little bit
1828
more.
says, yes, Cherry.
I'm going to switch to an HB pencil since this paper is like kind of rough. I should be able to get a little bit better, like a little bit smoother touch with this. So if you squint, we kind of have a basic impression. This needs to darken some. Darken that. Dude, it's so much easier with the HB. I don't know why I was using 2H the whole time. It's because I'm dumb. See if I can shake the board anymore. I actually don't want to move it out of place. That's a very shallow depth of field lens. I said these things to let y'all know that I know what I'm talking about. You see, everybody, shallow depth of field means the focal range of the camera, which is hitting us approximately here. All right, everything else beyond and before is, in fact, blurry, right? Blurry. Opposite of not blurry.
Future Oil Painter says. When I was very young, 6 I think, I'd run outside trying to catch up with the sun, I got some cool floaters in my eyes to remind me of those days. Sherry Kitten says. Okay, I'm familiar. I'm not sure if Louis would have had any there. Pretty sure people make a huge deal about it if he makes art in their city. Rossar says.
I don't get out though, I
Wow,
don't know.
so smart. Much wisdom. I
Thank you,
feel my
Rashar.
brain expanding.
You should. But for chair, so you were I'd run outside trying to catch up with the sun. You got some cool floaters in your eyes to remind you of those days. Is it?
Sherry Kitten
Ah,
says.
you were retarded.
That's not what causes eye floaters, lol.
What causes eye floaters?
Future Oil Painter says. Let me guess. Getting beat up by bullies.
Did you get beaten up by bullies? Is that what happened?
Future Oil Painter says. Head fractures.
You're listing all the things that have happened to you.
Future Oil Painter says. When they caught me, yeah. Windy City 1828 says. Random question number 4. What
Keep
music
going,
you
Windy
into,
City.
Louis?
I like rock music. Like from the 90s, early 2000s, and I like and 80s, like the more classic rock too, like Led Zeppelin. I like. Um, I love AC/DC, and uh,
Sherry Kitten says. To
and
some degree it's a normal process of the eye
classical,
liquid breaking down.
and I
If it
think it's
hardened
called
you get
synthwave,
cataracts.
which is
I
newer
asked my
music, which
eye
is
doctor
nice.
about it and she was like, yeah, it's normal, lol. Sherry Kitten says. Some people say pineapple stops floaters from happening.
Really? All right, so check this out. It's like, okay, so we have this kind of divided into two right here. It's like some of this might need to get a little bit lighter, right? So what you can do then is go in and like pancake like this, and you can kind of lightly go in and mimic the pencil strokes going across in that direction right here. You see that? So you can kind of pull up some light out just a little bit. So again, I'm squinting to make sure that it flows with everything. I want to see, everything turn like this. Okay.
Future Oil Painter says. Oh, what a relief I've had these floaters since I was 6 or 7. Oddball 3053 says. Explain a little how the lights hits and such. Future
light.
oil painter
You're going to
says,
have a lot of
they are my friends.
ambient light, which is like coming from all different directions. The cloud refracts the light. And so it's going to be very luminous, especially on the top. And look, you can make the whole thing. Let's make this side a little bit lighter down here too. Like say it's a different cloud system, right? So
Shurikitten
we can make the
says,
clouds lighter
if you
here.
have tons and tons, that's an issue, but just ask your eye doctor about it.
And right, and they can be a little bit more elongated and but you want to have light shadows that denote word of the day, DENNOHTEE, denote. All right, form is in fact the structure of what we are drawing, structure, the three-dimensionality, if you will. Clouds have their own anatomy, perhaps, maybe. Okay, they move. Okay, denotes form. So we have to kind of imply it with light, shadows. That. So you might have something like this, and then coming out like that. Okay, and then you might be saying, but Lewis, sometimes there's those wispy clouds, right? Well, okay, let's make this a wisp. Watch this. We're using the sky, which this is, in terms of clouds, this is going to be lighter. The cloud's going to be lighter than the sky. Whoops, and then we can do this. Kind of how they wisp. I know this cloud is several different kinds of clouds. It doesn't really exist, right? But you have a wisp or something like that. It's kind of wisping out. It's wisp. Okay, wisp. W H I H S double P. Wisp. Okay. So learn spelling here. Spelling. THP.
Shurikitten says,
E.
wisp.
Huh. Yes. Yes. Y. A. E. T. H. Boom. Spelling bee check. All right.
Shurikitten says, BF.
There we go. Let's do that right there. Look at this. I like that part. Let me take the wisp down. This wisp.
Windy City 1828 says, random question number 5, when we look at your cloud drawing, are we able to see a face, a sheep, or something else?
That's a good question. Let me draw something in there and see if y'all can see it. I bet you can't guess what I'm going to draw.
Shurikitten says,
Express yourself.
I see boobs.
You always see boobs.
Windy City
Probably looking at yourself.
1828 says,
Probably
ha,
looking at
ha,
your
ha.
ass right now. Everybody's like, men are pigs. You know what? I think the women in our Discord or in this group are dirtier than the men are. We're saints. Been suspecting this for some time now.
Shurikitten says, where is Curry? Future Oil
Speaking of
Painter
which,
says,
I don't know where she is.
one
At
thing
her.
that is annoying about those anatomy drawers,
At Curry.
from the I forget the school name, it's annoying when they put a mark on paper and they always call out the anatomical name. Here we have the unblagun da da da, and here we have sphincter bone.
Sphincter bone. Here we have Sphincter Boy over here.
Oddball 3053 says, I'm struggling to visualize what shapes clouds actually have when observing them.
That's why I'm helping you.
Shurikitten says. I think they're just showing off unless they actually break it down. Future Oil Painter says. Yep.
Good. But for sure, you just got to stick with this, okay?
Future Oil Painter says. Not saying they suck, see, just annoying. Shurikitten says. I feel like you're doing clouds the hard way. You could just take the eraser to it and show the light shapes.
What do you think I'm doing? How am I gonna? Okay, Shurimiya. What do we start with? White paper. You gotta put freaking pencil down. If you want to do the erasing, you have to put it down first.
Shurikitten
Can't make
says.
bricks without clay,
Tone
Shurimiya.
it. P. Shurikitten says. Then erase.
Look,
Oddball
if you
3053
want to take
says.
easy ways, you're not
Or
going to be
use
good like
charcoal
me.
dust and form them from that. Future
Yeah,
Oil
you can
Painter
do that.
says. Good job shaping the needed eraser like a PP. Shurikitten says. Pencil.
Pencil fill. Okay? Guys, my point is you want to know how to draw them. It's nice having a nice drawing, okay?
Future Oil Painter
You're doing the
says.
hard way.
Looks good.
Thank you.
Windy City 1828 says. I'm looking into the center of your cloud draw and I can see a cross on its side. Shurikitten says. I'm not being rude.
Now I feel bad because I know you're not being rude. You're being dumb. There's a difference. And it happens because you're wall-eyed. We've talked about this. Windy City, now I feel bad because you see a cross, but I was drawing two penises crossing each other.
Future Oil Painter
Such a
says.
jackass.
How hard are you holding that pencil? Looks like you're trying to crush it.
That's why I'm saying, like, my hands aren't calibrated for this type of work right now. It's getting better, though. I'm starting to get it.
Windy City 1828 says. Oh, Lordy, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You don't need to be sorry. I'm the one, like, I'm the one doing it. You challenged me, and I was stereotypically mature in my own way. I guess immature, whatever.
Shurikitten
Anyway,
says.
this is how we do it.
Can you smudge it?
You can, but if you guys do this stuff, you're not going to know how to just draw it with pencil. Okay? You got to know how to use the pencil. All right? There's many different ways you can do it.
Shurikitten says. LOL.
You're always trying to find the shortcut with things. Sometimes you need to learn how to do it the hard way, and then the easy way is going to be freaking easy because you know how to do it the hard way. This isn't that hard. It really isn't that hard, guys. Not for me. Everything's so easy for me. Look, taking that out. I'm going to take the penis out. Windy City snapped my senses back into place. You
Future
know,
Oil Painter
so many
says.
things in life I do regret.
Well, go over the way to cheat tomorrow, okay? Shurikitten says. I thought you weren't supposed to draw the outlines of clouds.
Look, you can still have it atmospheric. you draw the outlines, but then you can shape it and like you can take them away or whatever with values, right? Value meaning like I'm going darker with the
Shurikitten
pencil.
says. Oh,
Yeah. See that? But you need to have shape to it. And then if I want to have like sharper points on it, it's
Future
okay to
Oil
do
Painter
that.
says.
You can have,
I think those are what they call the found line.
look, as this is what I'm talking about here. See, you have to build it up first. Too many people want the effect right away. So you see how I just went over it very lightly, and now that pops, and you have form with your cloud. Because if you look at clouds, they do pop like that. If I want it softer in those areas, it's not that hard to get. All you got to do is shift the values and take that line down just a little bit. Watch. This is my point. You have to lay the
Oddball
foundation first.
3053 says.
Trying to get you all flexible with
That's
it.
true. No outlines on clouds except that silver thing.
No, you can outline
Future
clouds.
Oil Painter says.
You can outline parts
Lines
of
that
them.
are sort of implied. Not necessarily dark and obvious.
Look, see, this is my point. Look at this. See that? I took that out, and that makes it soft. But if you, look, what you don't want to do is outline the whole thing like one solid outline. Okay, so we're talking about two separate things. What is What is a
Oddball
line?
3053 says. Want that make it cartoonish with outlines. Shurikitten says. I don't know where we learned this, but someone somewhere
Yes, it will
told all
oddball.
of us you can't outline
Okay,
clouds. LOL, sorry.
good. This is a good lesson. So they're right because people were going through and outlining clouds. You don't want to do that. But did I outline this? What I'm doing, and what is a line? We're talking about form. On the human figure, you have planes.
Shurikitten
A
says.
line is a
A
plane.
line is your mom.
We ignored that. A plane facing like this to our eye, which clouds have, and it's formed off of contrast in the background to the cloud. And so if you look at clouds, some clouds are going to be
Future
like
Oil Painter
sharper
says.
edges and
Ugh,
softer in some
it's
places.
hard for me to show the roundness of parts. I think I'm getting it slowly though.
So I am not outlining everything, but I'm accenting certain places right here, right? And then other
Oddball
places you still want to have the
3053
form.
says. There's exist no outlines in nature as far as I know.
Then why do we do drawings like on the human figure with lines?
Shurikitten says. So is there ever an instance where a line is softer so pulling away but it's not cooler in temperature? Future
Yeah.
Oil Painter says. Oh, accenting, gotcha.
It's accenting. Guys, you're right. You don't want to outline and make it cartoony and make it look cut out. But y'all have the wrong idea about lines. In drawing, a line
Oddball
denotes form.
3053 says. Planes just meeting, not outlines.
True, it's not one solid outline going around. It is planes, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the planes. You have to have a differentiation of edge. Otherwise, it's just going to be all a blur. And that's not the light impression that you get. We're trying to get the light impression. And to
Shurikitten
do that, you
says.
have to have sharper
And form
lines.
is anatomy but of a cloud in this case.
And so when I'm going in, yeah, exactly. Look, we're trying to get the form with this, but we're trying to get it. So like right here, soften these edges, right? You see,
Future
right
Oil
up in
Painter
here, this is
says.
how it's starting to like
Like
form.
drawing boobies.
Exactly. Bring this in some. See, you got to squint down. You got to get an impression, and there's going to be, some areas that are going to be softer. It's going to kind of wisp and fade up into the background. Let's do that there. Look at that. See? But we're trying to get
Oddball
an
3053
impression.
says. Explain again why you have these lines on the cloud. I missed it.
Yeah. So the lines denote form. Okay. And go outside, and especially when it's like nice and puffy outside, and look at the the clouds, just squint down, look at the shape, and in your peripheral vision, you're going to see sharp contrast. And so you want to put that sharp contrast where you see it, but you also don't want everything to be like, you don't want it like totally outlined necessarily. Now, sometimes clouds are like that. There's nothing wrong with putting lines on clouds. There isn't. I don't know where y'all got this from. But it needs to have a solid light impression. It's no different from the human figure.
Shrikitten says.
No different from the human figure.
So where you put the lines, does that represent the midtone? Or the
It
shadow?
represents, all right, so, okay, that's a good question. So here it's representing the contrast between the sky and the cloud and how the cloud sharply turns, right? It's not wisping out. Here, kind of the same thing, except parts of the cloud I have in shadow, and I've kind of wisped it in some here. So perhaps this part of the cloud is, you know, kind of wisping out that way. It's a little bit softer there, maybe due to the contrast between the sky and here and the actual cloud, right? But like, if y'all are saying, oh, well, you don't want to do outlines, well, then we just shadow like this and just get like different values, but then it's all going to be extremely soft. And you can do that. Sometimes clouds are just soft and they're wisped on. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But I'm trying to say, like, if y'all want to, does this not look like a cloud?
3053 says.
Like, it's not even
I
done.
see no lines on random images when I Google clouds, not on any of them.
Are you doing like photographs? Or are you doing, let me find something. 1 second. If the stream slows down, guys. Okay.
Future Oil Painter says. Think it is like an inflection point? A transition from fluffy to other fluffy cloud?
Okay, no, there is. There are lines, but the reason why you think there's no line is because the cloud is white and it's dark here, but I'm talking about oddball, look at the contrast. If you squint down and think about sharp and soft edges, you'll be able to tell sharps and soft edges. Okay, on the cloud. Sometimes they kind of like feather off, and other times it's just a sharp edge with the blue sky behind it. Okay. Now, if the background is like whiter or something, you're still going to have like a shadow edge, but it might be something like a little bit softer like this. Do you see? Like it might be softer like that. But like on a blue sky background, because I pulled it up like the first image that came up, I had one, and I can demonstrate. You know what? I might make a video on this. But I say that about everything. And then I don't have the time to do it. Okay. Like, let's work this edge up just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what lines would represent.
Guys, I don't know where y'all got this no lines on cloud.
There's no actual lines on anything, so when to use line and where?
All right, then, okay, let me ask you a question.
Oddball 3053 says.
Human figure, do you not put lines on?
Loving the info so far, BTW.
Good.
This is pure gold.
Good. So, like, on a human figure, though, should you not put lines on a human figure?
Shrikitten says. I don't know.
You damn right you don't know, but you should. You do put lines on a human figure. And why is that? I've told you already. Y'all, I'm going to ask y'all questions so y'all get this. I don't know who told you. You're not supposed to outline anything and make it look cut out if it's a human figure, unless it's like a stylized something. But this type of work, you use lines. Definitely use lines. Y'all use what else do you have? It's going to magically wish it onto the page.
Future Oil Painter says. Plus the clouds to me have different color gray, purplish gray, dark to darker gray.
Squint down and look at the lights and darks.
No, I mean I don't use line, I use shapes of values. Future Oil Painter says. Lines to block out T. Future Oil Painter says. Yeah.
Have I taught you nothing? Damn it. Guys.
Future Oil Painter says. Gotta block it out, to get it right.
I'm vexed. I'm extremely vexed. At Shakuri, I know she probably wants to. Did y'all at her in Discord? If so, don't worry about it. I know you said she.
Shurikitten says. I did.
Oh, you did. Okay, never mind then. Squint, squint, squint. Because I'll look and see if certain things are broken up. Bring them
Oddball
together a little bit.
3053 says. But what you call lines is just planes meeting planes.
That's how we. I look at this right here.
Future
These
Oil Painter
shadows.
says.
This form.
Lines are our friends, like my floaters.
I'm making form. This is form, this is form. It's just coming at us from a different side, and it has to do with the contrast of the sky behind. That's how we do it. If I took these sharps out, this cloud would look, it wouldn't look as interesting and it wouldn't look as real. Technically, there's no such thing as lines if y'all want to go about it, but yet we do it in art. We even do it in painting to a degree. Why? Because because
Windy
drawing
City
and painting is an
1828
illusion.
says.
We create illusions.
It's looking great.
Thank you, Windy City. And I'll give you another example. In paint, there's no such thing as light, and you can't make light in paint. You have to make the illusion of light by contrasting darks and lights and colors. But there's no light or dark in a painting. Now, in real life, there is, but in paint, there isn't. So we have to create illusions. And so one of the illusions we make is through line. The
Oddball
line, our
3053
eye will
says.
register.
Paradox of removing the not real lines would make it look less real. Future Oil Painter says.
Yes.
I think we're saying the same thing using different words.
That's it. No, Oddball said it exactly right. There are lines. Whoever said there wasn't was probably referring to like people like they were outlining it very hard and it just lost impression in the
Windy City
form.
1828 says.
You can overdo it and you can kill it.
I recently found out that there's different shades of white. Future Oil Painter says. It's all an illusion, Michael.
It's not a trick, it's an illusion, Michael. All right. It's a good lesson. But yeah, like I'm sure say, oh, there's no lines. I mean, some clouds don't have lines like that, right? Like if I'm wisping like this, you see like on the side here. Let's make this a little bit more interesting. We'll do this. So we're working just with values. And then where did I put my eraser? Okay. Yeah, y'all can see it. Okay, so I'm going to, this is kind of the wispy cloud look, right? Kind of coming in some. Just that there. There you go. Look at that wisp. Okay. Wispy clouds. Nobody panic.
Shurikitten says. For real, not trying to be rude.
I know you aren't.
But yeah, lines are weird. It's odd that we use them. I don't use them, I use a large block in of value. Never liked linear art because I always found it was wrong.
All right, so see that? Now, check this out. When you put a line down, just one, even something like that, do you see it kind of gives a little bit of form, and then you can come into it with another value like this. Soften it out some. And then if you want something just really ultra soft, we can take the lines away. So this might fade. See, fades. But we use lines as a friend. We manipulate them, just like we do people, right? Always manipulate the weak-minded. And then maybe this kind of fades more like that. Fades. See that? Darken the sky. Fade, 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 fade. Maybe there's a darker cloud down here. Okay.
Future oil painter says. It's an illusion of a line, like the illusion of having a dog that won't pee on your chair. Future oil painter says. LOL.
See? And if you want, like say something here is like a little bit more solid and cut out, right? Do that, and then maybe it starts bubbling up again here. You know, something like this, and then we that contrast in just a little bit. Fix the drawing some. Do that there. Let's do that. You see? And so you have variation.
Future
You got to
oil
make it
painter
interesting
says.
too. Like,
Is that also how you think about it when drawing fabrics?
yeah, definitely. And when drawing fabrics, that's why I have all these mannequins in the studio. They're not just to talk to, and the fact that they're my only friends. They have multiple purposes, just like everything I do in life. You can set the folds up on them, and you spend a lot. Y'all haven't seen me do this, but like for a project or something like with hands, I'll have like I'll be messing with the drapes for quite a while until it's right. You're designing, so it's the same thing here, right? It's the same thing here. But like you can also demonstrate nice smooth lines that are attractive to look at, you know, and you want to do variations of them as well. It should be captivating to look at. Not just like, okay, I drew the shape. There's the shape right there. And it's like, okay, I could open up a kid's book and see a circle or a rock or something. That's a shape. You got to make it like artistically interesting to look at. And you do that through
Future
correct
oil painter
drawing, varying the
says.
form, line
Thank you
qualities.
Kmart mannequins for keeping Luth company.
I'll pass the word on to them. And we could keep on going with this until they look like solid and real. But look, like this is how, this is how you go about it. Oh my gosh, but you made it too dark around the. Shut up, look. Gosh. Shut up some. That. This is what I'm saying. Guys, there's 50,000 different ways you can do this, but if you can draw them with like a pencil and eraser like this, that automatically puts you
Shuri
above
Kitten says.
everybody
Did they teach
and
you
ups your
definitions
worth.
in Florence?
Definitions? I mean, some definitions. What do you mean definitions? Anyway, that's kind of it right there. And like we could, guys, I could keep going with this. I could literally, it's just like and everything
Oddball
here is erased.
3053
Like I can
says.
erase it pretty
A
easily.
stormy dramatic clouds follows the same process.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've kind of like done some variations here for you guys, right? What's this thing at the bottom? Okay, and here, okay,
Future oil
this
painter
is a good
says.
lesson. Watch this.
Think they made a documentary about Luft's life story with a mannequin that came to life, forget the name, but the them song was Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now as he rode off into the sunset with the mannequin.
That was Mannequin, and it had Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah in it. Was it Daryl Hannah, or am I thinking about Mermaid? I'm thinking about Mermaid. But there was a Mannequin movie named Mannequin back in the 80s. I remember watching it. Okay, this right here, like if I want to take this off, you don't want to erase down to the paper where it's white. You want to take it to the value. See? So I'm erasing it to the value that I want it. Squint, 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 squint. See how I erase that piece? See that? Instead of going through and doing like something like this, like people do that. And sometimes that's
Shuriken
okay to
says.
do, but you don't,
That
that's,
might be the issue. The terms are said easily like line and form, etc., but definitions are not known to people that didn't go to school. Where to place line isn't just known. And form doesn't have a definition when people say it. They just say it like everyone knows already.
that's why I define it though. I've defined it before. That's why it's the volume of the clouds, the actual three-dimensionality of it. See what we've done? And so now this is soft here. But if you want it, again, what do we do if we want this more cut out? Because sometimes it is. It's like, oh, well, there's more of a contrast there, but the values, I'm pretty sure they're correct. Work the line, bitch. You guys, it takes practice. Unless you're me. I've never done clouds in my life, and this is the first time somebody said, or Oddball said, can you do it? And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. Never done clouds in my
King of
life.
Was left says. What is a line?
A line is a plane viewed from the side. So a plane right here, it's a plane viewed from the side. Affected by light hitting angle and the contrast of the background
Future oil
and my
painter says.
flesh.
I think we just have to draw to find out the answer.
Or listen to me and just believe me without question, okay? How about that? How about that? Anyway, cloud. Okay?
Shurikitten says.
I can make
Oh, so if
testicles
not
hanging off.
viewing it from the side we don't put the line?
No. You got to look at the light impression, right? So I feel like I'm going to do a video on this so I don't go insane. It's like, you know, the light impression is squint down at something and then look at the whole thing. The whole thing. And what cuts out, what pops out, what is sharp and what fades off into the background. Observe that first. Take note of it and then open your eyes and then you can
Future
study
oil
why
painter
that
says.
is.
What is a line? A line is comprised of millions of atoms, which have a nucleus with electrons and neutrons.
I'm done with this. Oh, if that takes off the under tape too, I'm gonna be pissed.
King of Was
Oh,
left says.
yeah.
Line depression. No one told the line it was good enough.
Back to the drawing of a church. La chiesa, if you will. Like these Chinese say, La chiesa.
Shurikitten says.
Okay.
That's okay if you want to save it for later. This seems extremely basic, but it's a fundamental that isn't taught properly.
You're correct. I'm actually glad y'all are asking these questions. I am. I don't know how I can explain it better right now, but I'll figure out a way of doing it. Always do.
Oddball 3053 says, I don't want to be annoying, but
You're
I'm
not.
still struggling seeing the lines, even though I squint.
Okay.
Future Oil Painter says, Serenity now.
Oddball, are you,
Future Oil
let
Painter
me
says,
show you this.
add time.
Let's do this. Give me a second. So happy, my friends. Okay, clouds. I have one for you. I'm going to show you something.
Shuri Kitten says, yeah, when you squint there is no line. It's fuzzy like getting your eyes dilated.
Y'all aren't doing this right.
King of Wasleft says, that's a nice church. I'd talk to Jesus there, but I'd talk to him in a shack, so do with that information what you will.
As long as you talk to him, man. For all I've heard. There we go. This is the one I want.
Shuri Kitten says, Windy City, yes, there are lots of different shades of white. King of Wasleft says, also, why does TDS not know how to say ID?
All right. All right, guys. This does have sharps and softs in it, despite what you think.
Windy City 1828 says, thanks her. Future Oil Painter says, I recall praying in church, for the first communion, I was praying one part wrong, where I would say, and your rascal Jesus. Finally one of the priest overheard me and corrected me, lol. Windy City 1828 says, Cherie. Future Oil Painter says, people around me would giggle.
Can y'all see the cursor? Sunday morning. Y'all can see this, right? Like the
Cherie
cursor.
Kitten
I think
says,
so.
that's why we get lots of different whites. Titanium, transparent, lead white. They all have different color variations. Future Oil Painter says, sounds about white. Future Oil Painter says, sounds about white.
Capture cursor. So y'all can't see the cursor, right? Is that correct? No,
Shuri
you
Kitten
can't.
says, nope.
I think you can though, can't you?
Shrikitten says. Okay now yes. Shrikitten says. I saw it for a second.
I know, and now it's gone again. Oh wait. Let me do something here. I know
King
why.
Boss
I'm an
Left
idiot. I'm
says.
an idiot. 1 second.
There is no wrong prayer. Jeremiah 29:13, and you will seek me and find me, when you search for me with all your heart.
Dun, 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 dun. Uh, shit. Where was it? Oh, I have a better idea. This goes.
Future Oil Painter
Screw it.
says.
I'll just put that there.
I see the cloud picture and cursor.
Okay, that's not it. For some reason, it's not appearing. Okay, wait. Oh, forever after. This. It's not it. Cloud. This is what I'm talking about. All right, guys. Y'all can see this, right? Wait a second. No, you can't because the cloud picture's up. Okay, now you can see this. You can see this. All right, guys, here. This is what I'm saying. Shit. All right. So we see this, right? Can y'all see this? Can you see the cursor now? Yes, you can. All right. Now I want y'all to lightly squint down. I want you to squint
Shrikitten
your eyes
says.
down very lightly.
Yes.
All right. And I want you to, this is what I want y'all to see. When you squint down, not all the way where it's like totally blurred out, but just like a little bit, just a little bit. And I want y'all to look right here. And is this softer than this? Look right here. What's sharper, this or this? What's sharper, this or this?
Future Oil Painter says.
This or this?
Yes.
You're going to put the lines here. Now within this, there's going to be, if you squint down,
Shrikitten
especially if you go
says.
back.
The bright part.
Yeah, exactly. Now you can see that's a sharp contrast. Okay. Now, same here. This is sharp. This is medium sharp. This is very soft. This is soft. This is soft. Medium sharp, soft, medium sharp, very soft, medium sharp, soft,
Shrikitten says.
soft.
Is it sharp because it's bright?
It's partially sharp because it's bright,
Future Oil
but
Painter
also,
says. The ones in the back are softer.
yeah, and this right here is going to be, because of the contrast, is going to be, it's still going to be sharp, but not as sharp as this. This does have to do with the contrast, but it also has to do with the actual, like you have the contrast of the background, but you have also how it's wisping away here. Do you see how there's transparency here because the clouds are very thin? This is a very dramatic example where the clouds are more defined. Okay? So you're going to have like, and we're lightly squinting down. We're creating the illusion, Michael, right? We have to create the illusion with pencil, with Planful. So this is going to be soft here. But within the softs and sharps, so this area is sharp, but within this sharp area, there's going to be softer areas. This, for example, sharp, soft, sharp, sharp,
Future Oil Painter says.
soft.
Sharp cheddar, medium cheddar, soft cheddar.
Right. but there's sharps and softs within the sharper areas, but the field value of sharps is sharper here. This is drawing sharp. Now, if you just want to, most people, what they do.
Oddball 3053 says, I'm still struggling seeing the line, it just goes from white to blue for me. Maybe it's something your highly trained eye only can pick up question mark.
I'm talking about the contrast. Is a sharp contrast or is it a soft contrast? Okay. Oddball, most people, when they look, beginners look and they'll look exactly at the point they want to draw and they'll make it too light and too sharp all the time. So if you can convince yourself right here that this is extremely sharp if you just stare at it for a very long period of time and outline it, but then it doesn't have the impression. It does not flow. If you look at this whole thing, look at the whole thing and just keep in mind what pops out and like what is a sharp contrast and what's a soft contrast. You're going to see sharp, 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 soft. This whole thing's soft. Look at this. This value's up there. It's just that the clouds are wispy at that point. It's fading off. It's more atmospheric there. And this cloud is closer than this cloud is, right? So it's not always distance. You do have atmospheric perspective playing in, where liquid in the air is going to blur it out, so it's going to dull it down, make it a little bit more bluish. But not at this range right here. This cloud right here, I'm assuming, is closer to this cloud. Okay? But just look and say which, like, if you had to put a razor edge on certain parts right here, you
King
can
of
see it here,
Waslef says,
here,
you
here.
guys are crazy. When I squint all I see is my dad standing over me, with closed fists with the stench of cheap wine and cigarettes on his breath.
All right, let's go to another one. How do we get out of here? Let's go to here.
Future Oil Painter says, like one way to think is the stuff with most contrast is sharp.
All right, soft. Squint down lightly. Look at this whole thing. Just circle your eyes all around. It's going to be sharper up here in contrast with, say, this piece right here. This is going to be softer here, soft. A little bit softer around here, slightly. This is going to be much softer. You know, so, but overall, this is sharper up top here. That's soft. This is definitely very soft down here. This is all soft down here.
Oddball 3053
right?
says, even though whatever we see it or not, your line in the drawing is 100 times more visible than on the images, isn't it question mark?
No, it's not. I think you're thinking you got to look. I don't know how to describe this. I mean, let me see. Yeah, a little bit. But I mean, like we're creating a soft contrast, but like at a distance, everything's going to blend into each other with it. I mean, it's not, you know, like you're trying to go through and look and see a specific value. Okay, look, oddball. Let me get back to normal here. Let's go. Let's do this. Shut this off and display capture off. Look at me. Okay.
Future Oil Painter says, I see it.
Now, look at my arm.
King of Waslef says,
Look at my hand.
just a heads up. A white cursor on white clouds, I can't see what you're pointing out.
Look. Okay. Oddball.
Future Oil Painter says, just one problem, who's gonna pay for Botox?
All right, oddball. Like, you've seen drawings of arms, right? And hands. Where do you see lines like you see in the drawings on my hand. They don't exist, just like the clouds. You use them to denote planes. Does that make sense? So let's take clouds and bring them to the human figure. Right here, where do you see the line? The lines don't exist. Softer under here, sharper on the top. But if you zoom in, there's no line. There's none. Do you see it? Look at my hand here. Look at this right here. That's a sharp line. This is all pretty sharp here. But there's value going up to the edge, but there's no line. Like if I know how you're looking at the clouds, so I'm looking at my hand the same way you're looking at the clouds. There's no lines. So why do people draw with lines? Does that make sense? Or is this just more confusing? I got to get back to this drawing right here though. And I don't mind like discussing this, and maybe I do a video or something on it, but um, you know, I mean, oh, let me pick this off.
Future oil painter says. Look at his bony hands, look.
So like the human figure,
King of
where do you see
Waslap
lines
says.
on it?
So it's all feathered.
Would it look good if it was all feathered? If the human figure, you didn't
On
do
ball
anything with lines, it was
3053
just,
says. Can see it clearly on your hands, struggled more on your arm.
I think you're having trouble because there's like, you're thinking that the cloud is white, and so how can there be a line on the cloud? Is that it? Like the cloud's all white? Is that what you're thinking? But like you struggled on the arm because the arm was light, but you saw here that there's darkness. What you were looking, there's no line. All it is there's a value right here that's contrasting with this, and you're thinking to yourself that this is dark, so it must have a line. Clouds are light, so they don't have lines. I think that's what you're doing because you're seeing the value of the line. You're saying that line's a dark line. You know, I think that's what you're doing, but you have to understand that a drawing, your eye is going to blend in a lot of that stuff, and it's creating the illusion, the effect of what you're trying to see. And we're doing that through pencil. So you have to put some value down. You can't mimic, you can't create actual light off the page that satisfies the cloud. The cloud is just bright. So I think that's what you're struggling with is the lightness of the cloud is conflicting with your understanding of what a line should be in terms of representation and drawing. I think
King of
that's what
Waslep
it is.
says.
I think that's the problem.
Couple shots of Jameson, all lines vanished, life itself becomes feathered.
Yeah. Which I mean, which is understandable. It's kind of like I remember when I was learning how to paint, and they were trying to tell me how to. They asked me what color is the lake. There was a lake we were painting, and I was like shiny. It looked shiny. I couldn't even tell the color for it because in my mind I had an idea of what it was. I think I think oddball, you're struggling with the idea of it instead of seeing technically what it is. Like technically how to break it down and translate it into pencil. You know, I think that's what it is. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, there's no line here. There's a value separation. There's no lines. But that doesn't mean we don't use them. Like, this is drawing. Like, you have to, it's representing a contrasting edge is what a line should be doing, you know. And like, you can lighten the line some, but it needs to be sharp and defined, you know. And when you step back and look at the drawing, your eye will blend it in, and that's going to create the illusion of the cloud. It's all an illusion, right? So that's what we're doing with it. Did I just confuse y'all? I feel like the lesson was a botched lesson. I don't I feel like I confused everybody more than helped with that.
Shrikitten says. Where the values are different you can draw a line. It denotes a plane change. Hopefully that's it.
Yeah, but you have to do it in tandem with the sharp and softness. Like, I'll try to come up with a better way of saying it, but I don't know if I can.
Oddball 3053 says. YouTube filters my question. But are you seeing an actual physical line between the cloud and the blue sky?
No,
Or just
no,
implied?
no. The line, I'm doing it so that when you step back and look at it from a little bit more of a distance, like you need to refine the line and work it into it. But that's what's going to, it creates enough contrast to give the illusion of it being sharp. Does that make sense? Because if I was only to go through with a value and then put that sharp, like cut it out sharp and not make a line on it, it wouldn't look right. But no, I don't see like a darker line going around it. Not at all. But when you step back, it should create the illusion of the cloud popping forward and that being that sharp line. But it's the same in drawing. You're saying that you can't see it, you're having trouble seeing it here. But there is a sharp line going across here, and you would put that in drawing because of what I'm saying. It's the illusion that you're trying to create.
Shrikitten says. For hard edge, soft edge, and lost edges I think value makes more sense to me.
Like
I
y'all
think
are
lines
looking,
equals edges.
they do, but it's lines. Look, your lines and your shadow edges and all that stuff, like, and shadows have edges themselves, but they should all be kind of blurring and blending in with each other, and that creates the illusion of what you're seeing. It's an illusion that you're creating. So you can't just,
Oddball
you can
3053
just go through
says.
with values.
I was looking for an actual physical line.
No. See, and that's my point, is that what people do is they look too much at, like, they look really close in and they're trying to look at all the detail, and that's not how the eye picks things up. You can't do it that way. You have to look at the whole thing. That's why I say squint down. You think when I squint, I can see like all the detail? No. The reason why I squint is so that I can get rid of all the unnecessary detail that would distract me from the overall impression, the light impression. And in that light impression, you're going to see areas that are sharp and soft. just generally sharp and soft, because I can convince myself that anything's sharp or soft the more I look at it. I can go like this and really convince myself that, oh, this skin right here is sharp or soft. You can try it, but you have to look at what it actually is. And so if you look sharp, you have to compare it with, like a soft. And that contrast of soft lines and sharp lines will make it interesting to look at, but it's also what turns form. And it does that in humans too. There are no lines on the human figure. Not like that. There's no such thing as graphite on a human figure. It's not, but that's how we use lines because it's denoting a plane. And clouds have planes, so you have to draw it with lines, but you don't want to outline it blindly. So I was trying to tell you guys how to go about looking at it, right? And it's hard, but like that's drawing. That's what you have to learn, and you learn it through figure drawing, right? So no, it's not like look at this. For example, you can see on this, let me show you this. I have this here. Look at the roof. Do you see a line on the roof? Is there a line there? This is a perfect example. There's no line.
Laura Dreams says.
Laura,
Hi Lewis,
what's
hi
up?
everyone, hit that like button for our humble teacher.
But thank you, Laura. After, like, if you really want to get to it, we go through and we put detail in, and then we can soften that line. So we can lighten it up, but still make it sharp. But it's still going to be there because when you step
Oddball
back,
3053 says.
it'll
It's
work.
also what makes drawing cartoonish, in my opinion. With too many lines and contours. Beark108 says. Evening Louise.
Evening, Bear. What's up, man? Oddball, you can make it work and make it not look cartoonish with the lines. You can make it actually look more real with the lines. Uh, you like. mm,
Sherikitten says. Cartoonish usually means thick black lines and high chroma. Sherikitten says. Not so much the use of line. Laura Dreams says. Is this practice or a project for someone?
It is a project.
Laura Dreams says. Nice. Sketch is looking good so far. Will it be a painting or drawing?
Just a drawing.
Randall Whitted says. So you're saying when I draw nipples on political campaign posters, don't use lines, use shading?
I don't care
Oddball
what you use.
3053 says.
What's up, Njinji?
With cartoonish I don't mean like a carton,
A
but like a
cartoon.
drawing is tipping more towards a faint cartoonish side with lines. Was my original thinking at least. So I realize I didn't know much.
Uh, um, so oddball, the way to look at it is like this. Um, a good drawing, you'll see has lines. Oftentimes they'll have like it hatch through. It's like an artistic thing they do. But the idea is when you look at a work, you're supposed to not look at it from here, but from back about 2.5 to 3 heights of the work back, like 1, 2, 3 back here. And what that's going to do, then you're not going to see those lines. Your eye will blend everything in and it will create a light impression and it will look real if it's done right. But when you walk up close, you'll see the lines in construction. Okay, so that's the idea behind it. It's supposed to be viewed from further back so your eye and your brain blend things in. That's a good drawing. Okay. So up close, you're going to see how it's made. You're going to see more of the lines and stuff. And you look, there's a lot of, if you go to a museum and see, especially more developed sketches and stuff, a lot of them, they look very real if you step back and you look at them and they're meant to be viewed from further back. So that's the idea. And why is that? It's because the line, like you're trying to understand form. So if I'm going to paint clouds, it's good to do those line drawings because you're saying, okay, this is the form here, this is the form here. If you just shadow everything in, you're ignoring like half the drawing with it. And when you step back, it's not going to look right. It'll look flat most of the time. Lines will blend in from further back. That's the answer to that question. And there's nothing wrong with you asking that question. It's a normal thing, but you have to look for it and try to see it. Because once you get that, you're gonna shoot forward in your work. But that's one of the lessons with drawing. Like that's what most artists don't know that either. I don't think it's supposed to like you're supposed to blend it in. And Shinji, what are you up to, man? Besides drawing nipples on campaigns.
Oddball 3053 says. Exactly like how one plays colors off of each other.
Yes, yes. Those colors oftentimes aren't there, but you step back. That's how you get it. Exactly. Yes. So that's why you put those lines. You can overdo the lines. You don't want to do them that dark. And I didn't work that long in those clouds. Like, I don't know what I would do, but I would be stepping back and checking them and stuff. But yeah, that's exactly right. And that's why, so when we're working, it's important to be stepping back and looking at the overall impression, trying to get things correct. Right now, I'm trying to get the drawing right. Once you start adding shading in stuff, that's when you start blending edges and stuff, but you step back here to make sure you didn't lose the impression, which is what I was explaining when I brought the clouds up and was pointing soft, sharp. This blends in, this does this. Look at this area here, look at this whole shape. I'm trying to get y'all to see the overall impression because that's what you have to get in your work. Don't just go and hone in and look at one little area and say, oh, it's sharp or it's not sharp or whatever, or like you're trying to like detail it. That's not the way to go about it. And most people, that's how they do go about it. And that's why drawings don't look good and they don't make any progress with it. It's just how it is.
Beark108 says. Today I had one rant over sketching paper with one client lol she walked away with Canson after all. Oddball 3053 says. Coulda said that in the beginning. Haha kidding. but
Right.
thanks for the clarification, and the
Well,
insects.
yeah, no problem. I
Learned an
didn't know
really
that that
important
was
thing.
good. Good. I didn't know that that was the problem. Okay. But, which is good. And it's good that you ask these questions. It is good. Um, but that is why, like, you have to, it is a lot. It is a lot. Clouds are tricky, but, like, I can understand. It's like you're looking at the clouds, you're like, well, clouds are dark, I mean, or light. I mean, where do you see that? I get it. And here's the thing. You can get away with not doing it, but for a drawing, you got to know how to do both. Like, it's good to know how to just, like, there's nothing wrong with going through with the charcoal, putting charcoal dust on and hatching out. Like, that's fine too. You can do that. But if you want to know how to do it in pencil, like, I think that's a harder thing to do. But if you can do that, you're going to be in a better position.
Shuri Kitten says. Honestly, I think the hardest thing about art is just having the confidence to do it. There's so many rules and ways to be wrong.
You get confidence by practice, right? So just practice, just doing it over and over and over again and messing up, and you can't be afraid to mess up.
Shuri Kitten says. You struggled in FAA, right? How did you ever
Yeah,
get better?
didn't quit. I had to keep going. And you try to do what the teacher said, and you're always trying to push yourself. It's a struggle, you know, but you have to get stronger. That's the only way to do it. You have to get stronger. It's the only way. You know. You have to do this stuff. You have to do the work. You have to be consistent. It's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of being diligent, staying on track. You have to put that effort in, and it's extremely uncomfortable. It hurts. It's just how it is. I mean, it's like anything, right? But I had faith in the people who were teaching me. I was very fortunate, and anybody who goes there, I think for the most part, is very fortunate. But I mean, I told you I almost quit at one point because I let things get to me, and there was a reason for that. It was hard, and I wasn't doing good. But once I got over that, you know, started seeing improvement. That improvement gave me confidence. It taught me that um, as long as I stick with something and continue to apply myself, I can overcome it, even when it seems like it's lost. That was a huge lesson, right?
Shrikitten says. What were you doing wrong at the time? What did you struggle with?
I was struggling with, um, like painting in general. Like I was struggling. Okay, I had already gone through the portrait that I keep on showing, that drawing. That was one thing that taught me if I can always pull a project together. But then after that, when I was deeper into painting, I was just so bad, and I was having a very hard time. And I was in the maybe the end. When was it? It's like springtime of my. I don't know. It was like sometime in my third year I was painting, and I was just having such a hard time. And then I that's when I was like, my paintings were just looking horrible. I couldn't do it, and technically the drawings weren't good. I was having trouble bringing my lessons from drawing into painting because the medium of painting was like overpowering me. I was like, I'm not used to painting. Like in drawing, like you press the down harder to get the value, but painting, you don't do that. You have to mix the value, so it was very clunky and slow, and I didn't know what to do. Um, Color was overwhelming to me. I couldn't see it. Um, because I had ideas of what I saw, right? Like I looked at a lake, I said shiny. I did not put together that I know how to do that in drawing already, values and stuff, and then breaking the color down, that's experience. You have to develop an eye into that, and if you can't put the color down, it's going to look like shit. Um, it was just so hard, and that's when I was thinking about quitting, and then Dad said, "If you quit, would you be happy?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, don't quit." I said, "All right." So once I said I didn't quit, that ruled out that possibility. So I was like, either I stop bitching about this and get it, or I'm just gonna be miserable. So like I kept on going, broke it down, and eventually what happened was my mind started understanding things over time, and things started becoming second nature to me that before I had to really focus on getting. And so I remember like I came back like after a summer break once, and then I was able to, for example, I was holding my brushes. I was able to organize my brushes and paint a little bit more fluid than before. Whereas before I was having trouble organizing my brushes and figuring out what to do because you have to think about everything. The small little things here and there that I started doing kind of almost like it was almost second nature at that point, but not really because I was still having to focus on it. And then once I started getting it, I started getting the confidence. Okay, I can get this, but that's a lot of work. And You have people like, I had good teachers telling me, hey, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, which can be hard too, because you're like, they're always on my ass about things and not upset with them. I'm just saying I never do anything right. I suck. And then you start getting down on yourself. So, um, but the lesson is that you like, it's just like if you're playing an instrument, you have to form like your hands and stuff. Just you don't form the chords at first, right? They don't form easily. Like after you play it, you can automatically get your fingers in without thinking about it. But at first you're having to, figure out where your fingers are. It's the same with drawing and painting. The problem is because it's called art, everybody wants to be expressive and feel it and feel good. And so when they feel bad doing it, they stop. Or, and it's human nature, like you're going to take the path of least resistance just like water through a pond, right? Water through a pond will find the path of least resistance and go that way and form that area. But this, you have to go in a direction that you don't want to go. Like it's very hard to do. And that's why you have to have a teacher who has some nuts slapping you in the face with his nuts. Like that's what you have to do, right? It's just how it is. And it's hard and it hurts, you know, but it's practical. It's not this stuff like, it's not always about expression and expression comes in later, but at first when you're having to learn all this stuff, it's very difficult, you know. And it's very hard and it's very discouraging. Like again, which is one of the reasons why I want to kind of try to help people with this because it's hard enough. It was hard enough at a school to do this that actually taught it. I can't imagine like only learning this online. And there's so many things that people teach online that's just such bullshit.
Shrikitten says. Did you compare yourself to other people and that's what made it hurt, or was it the teacher saying it was wrong that bothered you?
Um, I would compare myself to other people, but I wouldn't do it in an extreme manner. But it's like after a while, it gets to that point where you're just like, I suck, everybody else is good. And I do the same thing. Like I still do that. Like I was doing that in WoW last week. It's fucking stupid. Because what happens is like what that does, it makes your mind less productive and less rational. And so you're not going to figure out the problem as quickly. And the way that I learn, and I learned this over at the academy, was I don't have a natural like gift to get a lot of this stuff done as a lot of people do. Like some people just do things and they can't tell you why they do it. They're just good at it. But with this type of stuff, it's like I suck so hard with it that I have to work very hard to get out of it. And that work, though, I'm able to explain how I got to that point, whereas a lot of people can't. So that's the benefit. But I have to work my way to that. And it's frustrating when you don't know that your mind works that way. And so you have to learn how you work. And you have to learn your weakness. And in doing that, you're going to learn your weaknesses and your strengths. And the idea is to get rid of your weaknesses, and you can do that. And to turn those weaknesses, turn them into strengths and strengthen your strengths. That's the whole thing, so that you don't have weakness after a while. That's what you're supposed to be doing. But it's very painful to do that.
Shrikitten says. If someone is gifted in a certain area, is it bad for them to be re-educated in that area? Does that break the gift part of it and make it so they follow academics vs their natural flow?
No, they can screw it up though if they don't listen. If it's something that will benefit them, they have the potential of going much further than the average person with it, potentially. Potential is they might have potential to get to a certain point. They have a gift that got them here, but depending on how far they can go, that's up to them. I think I've seen a lot of people they were very talented, but they didn't want to listen to teaching, and in the second, third year, they were behind everybody, whereas the first year they were ahead. But they wanted to rest in their skill. The truth is, though, when you first start, you can't see what's wrong with your drawing. Like if you somebody who's trained in art will look at a drawing and be able to tell you what's wrong with it. And a lot of the times people can't see it. It's just like a musician. They can listen to notes in a song and say, this sounds off, this sounds off. Whereas like you or I, like, "Hey, what are you talking about? Sounds great." People get more sensitive to it. So it's the same thing. People who were gifted in the beginning, they think they're all badass and stuff, and they are gifted. They have a gift. But somebody who's trained walks in, says, I see you
Shurikitten
have a
says,
gift.
oh, that makes sense. It only gets you so far, not to the end stage.
That's why a lot of
Shurikitten
people who
says,
it comes easy, they don't
people
get that
act like
far.
being gifted means you're already pro.
Exactly, and it's not. It's a gift, and you need to keep on expanding on it, and you have to work hard. And a lot of people, oftentimes, it's the smartest people they don't get that far because of it, because they rely too much on. But and it's painful too to acknowledge that you need to work on
Critter's
something.
Pencil says,
Yeah.
in art school, teacher told us the same thing. He had a genius able to draw everything. He was so good, but after 3 years he became average because he never worked much and listened to teachers.
Exactly. Yep. I saw that a lot at the academy, and I always thought it was so stupid because I was looking at them. I was like, because the thing is that the teachers, I saw their work. I was like, these guys know what they're doing, and you guys are arguing with them. What the hell's wrong with you? You see their work. They know what they're doing. It's amazing work. And yet, you guys who haven't done this work, oh, you can do a good drawing compared to me, but not the teachers. The teachers, they know, like I've seen their work. They're painting right now. They're doing better paintings than you can do a pencil drawing. And you're arguing with them? It was so stupid. It was the dumbest thing ever. And people will go and shit on teachers over this stuff or criticize. I was just like, guys, let the work speak for itself. I mean, I get it if you have like, there's a lot of schools that are like, oh, it's so expressive and it's abused in the eye of the beholder. That's what people say who can't draw. There's that type of stuff. Don't take them serious, but take the people serious who know what they're doing. You know, it's unreal. And that's the other thing. I was like, you're only going to hurt yourself. Like, I don't know what you're going to be if you are refusing to do the work. I don't know why you're here because you're paying money to be here. It's hard being in a different country. You're
Shurikitten
putting all this
says,
time in, and you're
were
not.
you the person that got told you were good at drawing or painting in school, not FAA but regular school?
Yeah, regular school, but that's not the same as going to the academy. And immediately when I saw the work that they did before I went in, I was just like, I need to
Bears108
be there.
says, that's why hostel owner in Florence wanted to know how shit got onto the ceiling. That's how you become pro.
That wasn't that amazing? If you can tell us how you got this here, we will not charge you. They just wanted to know. That is a feat. Like if you did something so unreal that the person who should be outraged is more curious, you have accomplished something that very few people in this world can. Oh, so funny. It's the dumbest thing ever, too. Like, why would he tie a string to it? Because he couldn't. Why couldn't he just like chuck it out and drop it out the window? I think he needed it to clear a certain distance, and he only could do that with a string. So he tried to get rid of the evidence. Oh man, I mean, and they went to the Florence Academy for boys. It's just unreal.
Shurikitten says. I was also that person. Though it really upset my teacher at the time. I wasn't the star student, but the hospital picked the painting they wanted, not her.
That's pretty funny, actually. By the way, Shotorimiya, we have class tonight. I think it's time that you and Jonathan come, as the Swedish say. Jonathan.
Shurikitten says. I can't yet, I'll let you know when we get some time off to go.
Okay,
Shurikitten says. We really want to.
good. Y'all will have fun. It's a fun class. It's also, despite how y'all have seen, it's actually very educational as well.
Shurikitten says. He was asking me if I was comfortable with him drawing naked people. I was like, well, I do it all the time, that's what you do as an artist. Why can't you do it, lol?
The naked people.
Shurikitten says. I guess some people would be jealous or something.
Yes.
Shurikitten says. I'm working on getting better. Did a whole page of Bargas. I guess I have to do more. The sharp PS1 edges is what confuses my brain.
I know. But the thing is that's something that just you don't need to understand it right now. But the more you draw, the more you'll start understanding it, which is why I'm always talking about light impression. Like if you listen to me teach, I'm pretty much saying the same stuff all the time, right? And I think in the YouTube world, everybody's looking for, oh, that one thing that's going to be said that's going to change and make everything better. But what I'm saying is that it's actually very basic. It's the same stuff, the impression, fundamentals, practice, hard work. That's it, right? I'll go over the mentality and stuff, but that's different than the technical side of things. Technically, it is what it is. So my point being is that it takes a lot of practice and a lot of time, and you put that practice and time and you're going to start understanding these principles better, right? That's the idea behind it. So right now, a lot of that stuff is foreign, and I can understand. It's difficult to understand a lot of this stuff. But the more you draw and the more you learn the value of squinting and you get better at drawing, you're going to start understanding these lines and values and stuff. You know, a lot of the times these concepts are understood when they're done, not just listening to them or reading about them in the book. But it's good to try to understand them. I'm not trying to discourage understanding here. I mean, it's difficult. Like, like the squinting thing is something that I slowly understood the more I did it, right? How many times do I tell people to squint? I say it because I don't think anybody really is squinting that much. They say, okay, I squinted a little, and because Brian, for example, like he's starting to do it some, but like I can't tell you how many times I might squint, and he's like, that's not squinting. It's like moving your skin on your face is not going to change. Like you have to alter your eyes. Well, then I can't see anything. Well, then you're missing the point. And that's something you have to learn by doing it. It's a hard concept. And the thing is, I can tell drawings and paintings if people understood what the light impression is or not. Like I can look at a drawing for the most part and understand how they went about doing it, right? But that comes from practice, not just intellectualizing things.
Shrikitten
You know,
says, does squinting replace stepping back?
no. Stepping back is going to blend everything in to you, and it's going to give you better compositional. It's going to assist, but you should be stepping back, squinting a little bit, and going forward, squinting and working. Really, here's how you're supposed to be doing it: observing from back here, retaining information, and going up and drawing. Step back, observe, go up and draw. So, like if I have the model up, that's how I'm doing it. Now, for the small drawings this big, you're just getting the basics. You're kind of squinting down some, but you're just working up like that at that range. But the larger ones, we're supposed to be observing from back here, walking up and drawing them down there. That's going to make it so it looks good from back here. Increases your visual memory. You're able to retain in your mind what you saw from back there. Walk up here without losing it and place it properly on the painting. You're going to be able to see the whole composition. Observe it back here. This needs to be fixed. Go up, fix it. Go back. It looks good up close, but it doesn't look good here. I have to go back up here, fix it. Now it doesn't look good up close. It looks good back there, so we need to fix it up close and make sure it looks good from further back. That's how you're going to have a holistic drawing or painting. All right. For the smaller drawings, they're closer up and stuff. It's not, you don't need to be going back and forth as much, but it's good. Every once in a while, I'll step back just to see the whole thing. Say, okay, like step outside, but squinting doesn't replace stepping back or vice versa. But you need to be doing both. Use everything at your disposal.
Shrikitten says, smaller paintings always look better for some reason.
Um, Maybe. I've seen some very good larger paintings, but the larger ones, I guess, they're meant to be viewed from further back, so close up, they're going to be like a little bit broader brush strokes and stuff. So I can see that. And smaller paintings are meant to be viewed from a little bit closer, so you have to have it a little bit tighter. I can understand that.
Beark108 says, I've met only few artists that are versatile and can draw well with pencil, pastels paint well, usually they get stuck in some technique and nurture that, anyway drawing is base for everything imo.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's very well said too.
Beark108 says, I really enjoy soft pastels lately.
Nice, man. I should switch things up too. Should quit painting. Yeah.
Beark108 says, well it's like gym isn't it, you should train what you hate the most.
Leg day. Actually, train my legs pretty much every day. Yes, you are correct. It is, and everything plays off each other too, right? The people with stronger legs, oftentimes they have this, especially stronger backs. Strengthen your back, strengthen your body. Hurts though. So hard. It's not good.
Berk108 says, Picasso was a decent realistic painter before he started experimenting more, and that made him famous. He actually requested Sennelier to develop soft pastels for him.
I wish that he stuck with his traditional training. He would have been so much better. I feel like we got cheated out of good work. This was actually correct.
Berk108 says, yeah, but it was something new. Well, knew he stole idea of cubism from other painter, just marketed it better.
Bear, he can suck a dick. Okay? You heard me. I'm upset with
Sher
him.
Curry says, greetings.
Hey, Shikari. Good entrance. Greetings.
Future Oil Painter says, hi true believers. Sher Curry says, I believe nothing anymore.
That's the spirit, Shikari. What did it for you, Shikari? Let's delve into that statement. Hmm? What happened to
Sher
Shikari to make
Curry
Shikari?
says, being born.
You wanted to stay in there, huh?
Sher Curry says, I guess being conceived then. Future Oil Painter says, for me it all started when Adam bought that apple, it was all downhill since.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sher Curry says, didn't everyone blame Eve?
I mean, it was both of them though. That both of them messed up. Like Adam blamed Eve, but it's like he did the same thing she did. So the woman you put here with me gave me that like it's just the same excuses and stuff. So both of them messed up. But if you're talking about like the superiority of men, yeah, men are way superior. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I don't think anybody's blaming her only for that one. Dude, I miss good music.
Oddball 3053 says, do you ever get called brainwashed when you are emphasizing the objective values and truths in art?
Um, no, no, but I'm not around a lot of artists, I guess. I was when I first started training at the Florence Academy for Boys.
Sheer Curry says,
The teachers were,
but what is truth?
um, but like at I went to Lorenzo de Medici School of Art in Florence first, and they were all like they weren't trained or anything like that, and they were trying to say that they're brainwashed, they're this or that. And oddball, I never listen to people like that because most of the time they don't know what they're doing. And so I don't put any stock into it. And I don't care. I'm so over what caring about like what most people think, you know? I mean, I care about what some people think, but if somebody's gonna say that type of stuff, I mean, I'm just like, all right, you can say it, man, but again, like I'm doing what I know I need to be doing, right? Shakuri, but what is truth? Who am I? Oh, Shakuri. Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, nobody's come up to me and said that to me recently. And if they do, I'll just laugh in their face. You know, I'm like brainwashed. I mean, maybe they're brainwashed. Like they're idiots. You know, the way to deal with people like that is not take them serious, unless they're trying to be open. If they want to have a conversation about stuff, but if it's just accusatory, is that right? Accusatory, just mess with them. So yeah, people
Oddball
don't
3053
do that
says,
with me.
the truth are the universal truths. Berk 108 says, so what was the curriculum in Florence? Did they teach classical art or you were free to paint whatever you chose?
No, well, later on we're free to paint anything that is in my fourth year. You start by doing bar drawings and working off the live model and leaving pencil. And then from there you go into charcoal drawing on the models. You'd work 3 hours on the model, live model every day, and 3 hours on your project. The project first was bar drawings in pencil and then eventually in charcoal. Then from there, from charcoal, you move to cast drawings. You had to do a couple of those. And then you could move to, after you mastered charcoal, you had to go into the white chalk on toned paper. And then after that, you went into painting, you would do grisaille, black and white painting at first. And then you would start going into color. And at that point, you would be working on still life to as your project. You'd always be drawing the model, pencil to charcoal, then eventually to paint, grisaille, and then color. So it was very strict, very strict. But you could go out and landscape paint whatever you wanted. It was good. It was very good. Solid. We got a solid edumacation. It's great. It was just wonderful. Just wonderful.
Berk108 says. Sounds good.
Yeah, it was good. Very, very lucky. You know, I mean, there are things that they could have done better. Oh, I'm sure, but it was an excellent education. I mean, you have your whole life to improve upon that. The idea is you got to get a solid foundation and then you build upon it. You know, any educational system can be nitpicked, and some of them are bullshit, but this was a good one, and it's meant to be grown upon. It's not meant to be the final of all things, but it taught a solid foundation, and from there, once you have a foundation, you
Cher
have
Curry says.
foot planted where
They
you
need
can.
to make art academies cheaper.
I know, and unfortunately, it's getting more expensive. I know, it's frustrating. Everything's too expensive, right? It's very frustrating. It's not right. I hate it. I really do hate it. I mean, yeah, it's just not good.
Oddball 3053 says. People around me always calls me brainwashed when I diss all things modern.
Oddball, if you don't mind me asking, and this is relevant, how old are you? Because oftentimes that happens in people like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, around that age. Starts fizzling out after that, depending on where you're at. People like the idea of being an artist, and then they read this stuff. They don't know that they don't know what it means to do it. But it's there there were some people who were like that kind of at the school, and I maybe when I was like 19, maybe I got some of that. 18, 19, maybe I got some of that when I was over in Italy, like before the academy, but I never took them serious. I was just like, what do you know, man? Go express yourself. That's what I there's so many stupid people out there. And so it's like I'm not going to let them dictate how I think about
QFX
things.
says.
But it
What's
can be
that?
frustrating.
A burrito. Cher Curry says. Laugh at their stupidity.
Exactly. Exactly. You laugh at their stupidity. I mean, it's just they're just retarded. And you have to let everybody know that they're retarded.
Oddball 3053 says. Guess based on my questions.
I think you are 22. I mean, that's specific, but that's a guess.
QFX says. Everyone's a retard of their time, some more than others though.
Well, see, that's the other thing is I've done really stupid things before in my life, but like retarded, absolutely retarded. I was just like, oh, I can't believe you. But um, but you learn from it, right? And it's not like I'm not trying to be mean to people, but I mean, if they wanted, if they want to get on somebody's case for trying to work
Share
hard
Curry
and do
says,
classical art, that
I
is
just saw
stupid.
the damn video title. QFX says, compared what humanity will know in only 5,000 years, we're dumb as shit now.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. But again, maybe we can do things that they won't be able to do because they're relying on technology. Maybe, maybe not. But I just think it's a stupid thing to get on somebody's case for wanting to do classical art. If you find yourself in a position where you're like bashing that, or
QFX says,
you know,
if we make it that far, which is questionable KEKW. Oddball 3053
yeah.
says, should one never discuss stuff with people who doesn't have much knowledge on topics? Share
Um,
Curry says,
no, you
back in
should.
19th century people were complaining they hated modern days.
Yeah, it's people are people. It's the same thing. Oddball. Always have discussions with people, but don't expect to always convince people of everything, right? If they want to have a conversation, it's good because sometimes you might be able to help them. Be like, have a conversation with them. Listen to what they believe, right? There's nothing wrong with doing that. That's a good quality. But but if they're being jackasses or stupid about it, just start messing with them. You have to pay attention to the flow of the conversation. But you're not always going to change people's minds with that stuff. But the best way to change their mind, if you are going to, is to become proficient in the craft and to show them. You can't argue art. You have to show art. You have to do it and be like, look, the art has to speak for itself. Otherwise, you just come out sounding stupid yourself. Like, you can have conversations, but don't expect to change them off it. And maybe you do in certain things, like depends on the person. Maybe they're a good person to have a conversation with. They're being genuine, right? If they're being genuine, like they're not trying to be petty, they don't have an axe to grind, have a conversation. Now, if they're being jackasses about it, that's when you troll them. Have some fun with it.
Share Curry says, but a lot of things in art are a matter of taste.
Yeah, you're right. It is. And that's why it's like, okay, if somebody prefers a piece of shit on the wall, oh, and the wall's white and it has some speckles on it and stuff, and it's just so expressive, over a painting of like a nice compositional scene that required lots of years of study that's actually very beautifully done,
Beark108 says,
then they're
I don't
retarded.
find modern art very inspiring, more like emotional relief for those in need, art as form
Exactly.
of therapy, but then majority
Exactly.
expects to be rewarded for whatever nonsense,
It's
here
bullshit.
reality hits hard.
Yes.
QFX says, is human cheese a matter of taste?
I think in more ways than one. Ask Jerry about that one.
Share Curry says,
Here we go.
it is. Why not eat human cheese?
If you were dying and you had the human cheese at your disposal, would you not eat it? You would. You would. So why not do that all the time? Signed, Jerry.
QFX says, sounds like you already have experience with it.
Trying to
Futuriola Painter
rationalize her.
says, I've heard some stories online about links to buying art for money laundering. Share Curry
Mm,
says,
tired.
one day y'all will change your mind.
How do you know we don't already agree with you? Do you really think this
Share
squad right
Curry
here,
says, I will have the last laugh.
like you're missing like your arms and your legs? You're like, ha, ha, ha. I don't know what got you in that position, but Curry doesn't have arms or legs. That's how she ends. Just like when she was a little sperm.
QFX says, depends on who the cheese came out of.
Who did this cheese come out of? That's what you want to make sure you ask that at the grocery store. Excuse me.
Oddball 3053 says, it's not based on taste. It's based on the universal truths which are objective criteria. Timless, what was beautiful
Timeless.
2000 years ago, and will be beautiful 2000 years in the future.
You're talking about truth, and people's perspective on it gets warped. And I agree with what you said there. But people have different tastes, and sometimes that's dictated by environment and then just being retarded.
Share Curry says,
But the truth
he'll only have my
is
oinky.
that there is such thing as beauty. I think there's a solid beauty out there. I think people's standards can be raised. Like I
Share
think
Curry says,
if you're always exposed to
beauty
ugly,
standards change.
yeah, if you're always
QFX says,
exposed to like something ugly,
isn't Ionki burrito?
then you're gonna have lower standards. That's why artists are very important. And artists
Valka
need to be
1S
smart
says,
about it. Valk, what's
Guyana,
up?
yes, Lou with Michael Guidetti.
You got to look. That's why a lot of the academies. Sir Joshua Reynolds spoke about this. They
Beark
were trying to
108
up
says,
their
we
idea
went to
of
Belvedere
beauty,
Wiener to see French Impressionists last
right?
Christmas.
And
There
you
you
need to
could see
train.
everyone totally blown away and impacted without probably even knowing much, just beautifully overwhelmed.
There you go. Beauty speaks for
QFX
itself.
says, there's the best priest on emerald cream. Valker 1S
He
says,
is.
just out here capping towers all by myself in Slayer's Rise.
Val, I went through and did my key bindings last night. Played a BG or two with Zerks.
Valker 1S says, all alone, without a mage.
I can't play, man. I have class tonight.
QFX says, probably the last one left 2XD.
I should. I
Share
don't know
Curry
if I should
says,
ever stream that.
fatties used to be hot, now it's extremely skinny. Which
Yeah,
one is actually
change.
beautiful?
I think the skinnier ones. People that take care of themselves.
Oddball 3053 says, you don't need academically training to view the classical. Everybody gets it. QFX says,
Yeah,
why
I
not
think
both?
so. See, spoken like one with no standards or direction in life,
Share
QFX.
Curry
I'm very
says,
disappointed in you.
some would say fatties.
Some would say fatties.
Beark 108 says, what's your opinion on Klimt? Valker 1S says, I showed my wife the video clip you got from the BG the other day, she thought it was great lol.
That was so funny. It's such perfect timing. Um, Bear, I have to look Klimt up. I think I've done it before, but you gotta forgive me. I'm behind on a lot of people I probably should know, including Kish. Y'all asked me that question yesterday. I don't know what that's about, so, and I should. I should. I know I should. Oh,
QFX says, depends on what degree of fat, we talkin' the C or 400 pounds lol. Share Curry
what am I
says,
saying, man?
Klimt was amazing. He could do both.
Look, I just think, well, never mind. I just, I'm just saying a lot of people don't take care of themselves today. For me, that's not an attractive quality. Now, I get it. Back in the day, it was a sign of wealth.
Sher Curry says. Kitsch is more a style. Or lack of style kinda.
Is it?
Like
Okay.
very sentimental. Valker1s says. Tell me more about these keybinds. QFX says. So it's this piece.
Um, shut up. I bound the pet so that I'm able to utilize it much more because there's a whole ocean of gameplay that I'm missing. It's a whole new design, Val. And anyway, I
Sher
went
Curry
through
says.
and improved the
That house
macros.
painting was pure kitsch, no hate.
The one that I did or something. I mean, I'm not gonna be offended if y'all say it sucked because it did. Wasn't fun. Anyway, Val, I improved a lot of the key
QFX
binds,
says.
made a
Brothers Sky looked like blue was still expensive.
1-2-3 arena focus macro so I can easily get back on target when they feign death or shadow meld. Just a bunch of
Oddball
improvements in the ones
3053
that I already
says.
had as well. So
Lewis. I'm from Norway, where Odd Nerdrum is the most hated artist in Norway. As he has
is he
been
hated?
attacking and humiliating all the modern trough out his life. And by supporting him, one is always brainwashed.
Oh,
Valker1s says. I had to go through a bunch of mine and purge a bunch and stuff.
yeah. Yeah, mine. I had to change a lot around. I mean, they totally changed the play style of the mage. So I have to once it clicks, it's going to be really good, but it's going to be rough. Um, Oddball. What's weird is that a lot of the guys at my school who were from Norway and even a lot from Sweden loved Odd Nerdrum. Absolutely loved him. I like some of his work too. I think some of it's just ugly as hell. But I mean, he has some solid technique. I think he really builds and sand, like, doesn't he sand down a lot and like build over? He has like solid texture. It's just, look, what I would do is learn how to articulate technically what you like about it and connect it to like emotionally why that registers with you. You need to be able to
QFX says.
articulate that. And
They grind down the
people
darks.
disagree, that's fine. Yeah. So if they disagree with you on that, that's okay. That's fine. Now, if they want, here's one thing you can say. This I would use this a lot because and you can use this in any conversation. What you do, you don't call people names.
QFX says. Lights the sea as your mom.
Thick as your mom, yes.
Valker1s says. Same with disc, the changed so much, I had to swap my renew bind to my please spell and remacro my evangelism spell, bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Oddball 3053 says. All classical figuratives love him. But that's only a tiny % of the population here.
Okay, so if somebody goes and starts attacking you, be sure that in the conversation you're just going through and you're being honest about things and don't call anybody names. But if they say you're brainwashed, you're this, you're that, and start calling you names, you say, well, between the two of us here, I have given you facts as to why I like it, where you're just name calling. So if you really have facts and you have like good reasons, then you should not be saying that I'm brainwashed. Like you wouldn't have to be saying that to prop your argument up. Like I've used that before because like I don't like this happens. Okay. I'm in
QFX
a
says.
city that's
Is
insane
renew back,
and I
wasn't
get
it dog
attacked a
for a
lot
while?
and it's oftentimes over woke bullshit. And I keep my cool with this stuff and I don't engage, but it's a lot of you just like calling names straight off the bat. Like if I'm having a conversation with somebody, I'm not going to be doing that. You know, I'll rationalize it out and stuff. But if somebody's constantly just like shitting on you, just say, hey, look, you know, between the two of us, you're the one who's calling names. I'm just giving you reasons. If you want to have an honest conversation, give me reasons. Put them, put them in their place. Like, call them out and have them explain to you what is wrong with it. Not the other way around. Put them in the hot seat. That's one strategy I use. The other one is not caring about it and just moving on, just ignoring them. But whatever you do, don't care about what they think. Do not let it get to you. You can have a conversation all day long. You do whatever you want to do,
QFX
but
says,
just don't let it get to you.
want to have an honest
Just
conversation about your plan to reach 1.4K. Valker1S says, it was back but they got rid of it again. It was kinda nice as a disc priest because we have 0 hots and it was a cheap easy way to apply atonement. Sheer Curry says, it's tough being surrounded by woke people with no taste if you love classical art and music lol. Oddball
exactly,
3053 says,
exactly, Shakari.
people are often not interested in the truths or the facts in most conversations though.
It's because their emotions get the best of them.
Valker1S says,
And you're right.
now the only way to put a hot up on someone is to atone them and then dot a enemy.
Yeah, that's rough,
QFX
Val.
says,
That is rough.
yeah, prayer is kind
That's
of a
rough.
dot, but having a hot liak renew is nice.
But yeah, I mean, whatever it is, oddball, don't let that stuff get to you because here's the other thing is that most people, all right, fine, they can think what they want, but they're going to suck. You get revenge on people by just doing a good job with what you're doing. Just focus on yourself and don't let these, because they have no control over you. You cannot let people have an emotional control over you. You have control over you, and that's what you have to stick with that. Say these guys can say whatever they want to say. They can say I'm brainwashed all day long, but their work sucks. So why am I going to listen to them? Why? Why? Honestly,
QFX
actually,
says,
why would you let them?
disc
Why?
also is a bit different since they do a lot of the DMG reduction / he with shield.
Yeah,
Valker1S says,
it's not as much
it
healing.
was
It's more.
just kinda nice because if I get C-set or interrupted it was nice knowing my DPS had some kind of health coming back.
Yeah.
Oddball 3053 says, Lewis, I have to be honest. It's often them defending themselves from my attacks lol.
Good. Keep on attacking then. I'm all for that, man. Good. That is funny though. This isn't right. I think. Yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna keep it there. Don't even care about that. That is freaking hilarious, oddball. Keep doing what you're doing, then, man. Keep doing what you're doing. See what you can get away with. Hmm,
Valker1S
that is
says,
funny.
yeah, it is way more damage mitigation vs big heals.
I mean, you're doing really good, Val. Skill Cap's putting most of those the healers in the same
QFX says,
level. They said they're all
Priest
A.
has so many outs for
Mistweaver's
CC
S.
immunity now, Fade, Death, but those are kidna annoying to press NGLXD.
Well, they're also dependent upon a good DPS with them to keep them out of the CC chain. And the mage, I have mass invisibility, which I need to be using on him, but I'm not good enough to do it. It's really hard to pull off. Really hard.
QFX says, Fade immunity is 1 second lol.
That's why it's. I know fate immunity is, and it's just all that stuff is hard.
Valker1S says, I'm really good at deathing my way out of stuff,
Yeah, he
but
is.
Fade is a little rough because you are only immune for 1 second.
He has to time it perfectly. That's hard to do. Sometimes, like a priest, he's pretty good at if a priest is going up, he knows when they're going to fear him, but still timing. I've done that before too when I was on disc last season. I was so proud of myself I was like, I did it! Pretty funny. You feel good when you pull that stuff off, but it's because it's so difficult to do.
QFX says. Kind of funny to me though that discs do more damage than some DPS now. I think this will change after AUK. Valkyr1s says. I don't really take fade when I'm going against non-castable CC, rogue stuns and warrior stuns just land and come out of nowhere. Oddball 3053 says.
Rough.
The problem are probably the same as you have. People in discussion really any knowledge of art at all. But they are bluffing and faking it, almost making stuff up.
Artists, quote unquote, that's why I hate the term artist because it's totally lowered the bar for good work. Um, but like painters do the same thing. They like bullshit their way and they have a bullshit plaque next to a horrible painting. And then they convince themselves that they're this great artist doing something that nobody else has done. And meanwhile, the work looks like everything
108
else.
says. This era doesn't favor good art.
It's getting better. It really is getting better. If you look at like 2000 and bring it to here, there's way more like art's coming back, man. We're going in a good direction. But it needs to be like institutionalized now, where it's like coming out into the, because it's still kind of almost underground. But like people are doing it now. This type of technique was lost for a long time.
Valkyr1s says. But fear spam, clone spam, and sheep spam I normally take it to give myself another out, just try to be more self-sufficient so my DPS has more uptime.
Val, you need to be that way because of who you're playing with. Xerxes is pretty good, but Xerxes doesn't have the utility, I don't think, to, like, he can't kick at a distance. Like, I'm supposed to be doing that stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like, I have a checklist of things that I go off of every
Share Curry
time we go
says.
into a match. I just
But
blow
the
it.
economy is going down and history says that means the arts will go down too. QFX says. LOL people run Mage Lock plus X now, it's kind of insane CC wise, only RMP shits on it.
I hate locks
Future
so
Oil
much.
Painter says. But we could be like the last of the Jedi.
I think we're gonna be okay. Always be optimistic. I need to get my fluidity back.
Share Curry says. Time to panic. Valkyr1s says. I don't know what's more tanky now, Locks or a Guardian Druid lol.
Guardian Druids are insane.
Share Curry says. Oh yes, we're all always optimistic here.
No, right? Yeah, be optimistic. And
QFX says.
every other day, you know what else pisses me
LOL
off?
I saw some Guardian completely outdoing DPS in 2s, which is really lame emo. Future Oil Painter says.
Tanks.
We're screwed.
We are.
Oddball
You're right.
3053 says.
Everything's over.
Isn't the classical art historically in its low? Do everyone drawing digitally and all that?
I think that's probably on its way out, personally. Um, Look, I'm not saying classical art's like in the greatest place, but it's moving. It's grown so much in 2 decades. Like, guys, I'm telling you, when I was in high school, I could not find anything. Like, we didn't have Instagram or anything like that. There was no like schools. Nobody knew what the Florence Academy was. Nobody knew like these academies were obscure. Now people have been training there. They're going starting their own academies. You had Pinterest and Instagram. You have like social media.
Share Curry
Like
says.
YouTube.
Oddball check the Angel Academy and
Only in
Florence
2 decades.
Art School. Valkyr1s says. Me and Zerx fought a Dev Evoker Prod Paladin in 2 last week, it was so odd lol. QFX says.
Right.
When was that? 40 years ago.
Shut up.
QFX says. Right, tanks can't be killed and do more damage than DPS, who's balancing this LOL or not balancing?
They're not balancing it. Everybody knows they're not balancing it.
Sheer Curry says. There are some fine artists on Instagram with 10,000 followers.
I mean, it's growing is my point, guys. I'm not saying it's like perfect, but you used to not be able to find any of these guys. Like nobody was around. I didn't know like I didn't before the Florence Academy, I didn't know this work existed. I thought it was just all old and now everything's just abstract. That's really what nobody could find these schools. Like I'm telling you, we're in a good place. Much better than we were about 20 years ago.
QFX says. Blizz shifted all people to games that make more money than WoW LOL, guess they don't want to fuel two golden gooses.
They're idiots.
Sheer Curry says. Everything got better when I was born. QFX says. Like what? Sheer Curry says. Everything. Future Oil Painter says. If I had a $20 bill for every YouTuber that says, I quit my job, and became a full-time artist, I'd have about $500. QFX says. Did they invent human cheese then? Oddball 3053 says. Faiths it's not without its irony, as our national broadcaster made a reality series of Odd Nerd Rum's family, making him the hottest, most popular reality star here.
That's really funny. All your enemies are pissed. I like how you're the one who was attacking people. It's really funny.
QFX says. They're actually putting an effort into Diablo 4, you can just see the quality difference.
Really? I hope so, man, because I'd love to be able to play that game. I hate it. Hate everything. Blizzard's doing the gay pride stuff now, which is pissing me off. Just leave that stuff out, man. Just make a good game. They have so many things that they have screwed up in that game. That's what they're focused on.
QFX says.
Sick of it.
They're releasing a new expansion on the 28th.
Are they really? Good. It's another one I won't buy. That's wrong. This goes over so.
QFX says. Yes, I thought about playing, but who knows, they want $70 since you need the base game too and the other spec, kidna steep.
I have the base game, which I regret buying.
Sheer Curry says. I never heard of Odd Nerdrum before. What in the world is that name?
He's an artist in Norway. He has to be in his 70s or 80s. And like he's old now. He's still alive, but he has to be old.
QFX says. I love Odd. Beark108 says. Most of local old classical painters just work on church commissions and not participating in art community much. QFX says. Yes, in his 80s.
In his 80s, okay.
Oddball
Guys, I gotta go in a couple
3053
minutes.
says. She Curry, check him out.
Yeah, he's
He
pretty
turned
good.
82 yesterday.
I haven't seen his work in a long time. I haven't looked at him in a while, but everybody at the Florence Academy loved him. Like the Norwegians were always talking about him, especially.
QFX says. From how I understand it, he teaches students for free, which I think is amazing.
Does he really? That's awesome of him. Look at that.
Oddball 3053 says. People would not say it's my view, or my personal taste if we were discussing mathematics or history. But discussing art is a personal thing apparently. Sheer Curry says.
So
I
pissed
looked
off.
him up, I love his work. QFX says. They can even live at his place and stuff. Sheer Curry says. Time to move.
Shikari would do him.
QFX says. You can apply anytime on his homepage.
Shikari would do him. Oh, well, that's so funny to me.
QFX says. LOL, shed do any famous art?
Yeah, I know.
Sheer Curry says. I would. QFX says. Ist. Oddball 3053 says. I was a pupil there in summer 2023.
No way. Oh, that is too funny.
Sheer Curry says. Not Dally he.
Not Dolly. Not Dolly. He seemed a little bit eccentric, kind of weird.
Sheer Curry says. Oddball, show your work.
This is a funny song.
Oddball 3053 says. Haha, no, I'm too bad. Future oil painter says. So Luth, for my next painting, just thinking about ideas, would like to paint something that I don't have any attachment, but not sure that's possible. Because painting is pain and suffering.
Um, you want a piece of work that you don't have any attachment to? I don't know, man. What do you think that would be?
QFX says. Lot of the Nerdrum students are amazing. Oddball 3053 says. Most of them are yes, but he takes in all levels. Future Oil Painter says. Gotta be something I despise. Valker1s says. This poor RET paladin keeps trying to take this tower from me.
It's is it the same guy that was out there before?
Valker1s says. It's just not going to happen.
Oh.
Future Oil Painter says. He'll have to think about it, maybe a self-portrait. Sheer Curry says. You need to be able to paint from live. Guess I'm out.
Oh, Shikari. You are better than you think. You have more potential than you think. You think I'm just saying that?
Valker1s says. I would say out of all the classes out there RET is the worst matchup against a disc priest. Future Oil Painter says.
Yeah, you can just
Painting from
mess
live
with the
okay.
spell.
QFX says. Apply at odds, they paint each other lel. Sheer Curry says. Lewis, you should open an atelier in the Netherlands.
That'd be awesome. Never been to the Netherlands. Met a lot of people from there. They were always really nice. Such a beautiful language too. It sounds really, really, really cool.
Valker1s says. They bubble. I mass dispel it and keep taking them to Pound Town.
Yeah.
QFX says. Sounds like you've never been there.
I've never been there. I said so.
Future Oil Painter
What?
says.
You don't think it? They
I
don't
only
sound.
know Sheer Curry via this. Sheer Curry says. Sounds like a lie.
What? Me? Lying? What are you talking about, girl?
Oddball 3053 says. Imagine saying I believe 2 plus 2 is 5. Or is that it's my personal taste it is? I mean, where does the line go?
Oddball's
Future Oil Painter says.
pissed.
And she barely likes me. Future Oil Painter says. Actually hates me lol. Cher Curry says. That's how Dutch people show affection, but for Cher. Future Oil Painter says. It's tough love. Cher Curry says. Like the Germans.
I gotta get going, guys.
QFX says. Damn. Future Oil Painter says. Look, take it easy with the speed of hatching, your fingers might snap off.
Mm-hmm.
Oddball 3053 says. Lewis, you like doing these lives. It's very cool of you to do them even though very few is watching.
I do enjoy it because I like talking with you guys, and I mean,
QFX says.
it's fun.
Don't drag us into this.
It's fun. I have a good time. I do. It's fun. Um, you know, I think too, when you know somebody's watching you, you kind of make sure not to cut corners. So and I mean, I learned too from you guys. I mean, y'all tell me things and I have to look them up. You got to keep
Cher
in
Curry
mind, I'm in here
says.
by myself all the time.
You
It's not
like
fun.
this.
What the hell are you what are you talking about, Shakuri?
Cher Curry says. This.
I don't know what you're talking about, girl. Weirdo.
Oddball 3053 says. And we keep you sharp and on edge with questions, forcing you to think.
This this is true. Guys, I gotta run, gotta go get my dad, and then I'll be back for class tonight, but I don't think I'm gonna stream it. Anyway, y'all are awesome. Maybe I stream tomorrow, maybe I don't. I don't know. Depends on a
Cher Curry
couple moving
says.
parts here.
Talking to us.
I do, Shakuri. And notice I always try to get you in here because I know that sometimes you don't get those. So I told Shuttermia to at you and disc today so you'd see the stream.
Cher
It's
Curry
fun. You guys
says.
are fun.
I was joking.
I
Future
was
Oil
I was
Painter
too.
says. Hasta la pasta primavera.
All right, guys. I'll see you.
QFX says. Adios fellow cheese enjoyers. Cher Curry says. Bye bye.